Happy Monday, or whatever day you happen to watch this. My lessons from this past week. I got some good ones. I got some really good breakthroughs and lessons. So, number one, just because I'm mindful of my time doesn't mean others are mindful of my time. Just because you're mindful of your time doesn't mean others are mindful of your time or their time. So that was awareness for me. You got to create boundaries, especially around your time. There are people who are not just mindful of their time, and that's okay. But when it comes to your time, you got to be mindful of that. Okay, that's my lesson. And here's another big one I shared, and I want to share it again because it was just mind blowing to me. When you are re-engaging after isolation from doing your healing work, you're a new person getting to know yourself as well as others, and you will be very sensitive to your feelings that you are now aware of. I feel everything now. When I say everything, I feel everything. And I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with my feelings now. And I'm now aware that when you have been doing the work, when you have been, going the healing and the therapy and everything, like doing all the inner work, you're now open to receive love, to give love, to feel all of the things. And so just really being mindful and aware of that, just blowing my mind, the things that I'm feeling, and I'm okay with it. So huge breakthrough for me. Now I understand why I'm feeling all these things. And the third lesson was everything you need is on the other side of obedience. Everything you need is on the other side of obedience, right? And that's trusting God's word, right? Even if it don't make sense. I just know that when you trust his word, my goodness, things just work out. They just do. You don't have that fear, that anxiety, because it's like, you know what, it worked out before. I always look at things that happened before. I know it's going to happen again. Or I look at, if it happened for them, I know it can happen for me, right? So I'm just staying mindful and just being obedient to what I'm supposed to be doing, right? His word. It's in the book. And the next one, it takes two people to argue. It takes two people to argue. Some things are better left unsaid. Some things are better left unsaid. I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, and they were saying some stuff, and it was just, I know that it could have led to an argument, so I just didn't say anything. It takes two people to argue, because if I had said something, and they would have said something, and you say something, and they say something, it takes two people to argue, okay? Some things are better left unsaid. And then here's the big one. We're not talking to people. We're talking to their filters. We're not talking to people. We're talking to their filters. What are filters? Filters are a compilation of their experiences in the past, emotions in the present, and assumptions they have made about you. It impacts their interpretation of what you said. I'm going to say it again. You're not talking to a person. You're talking to their filter. Their filters are their personal experiences in the past, their emotions in the present, and their assumptions they have made about you. This impacts their interpretation on what has said. Have you ever said something or post something and somebody responded to you like, how did they get that out of that? How did they get this out of that? Like, I didn't say that. Instead of them asking for a clarifying question, like, so what do you mean? Can you say it in a different way? Right? Instead of just asking, like seeking understanding. Because people hear through their filters. They hear and see through their filters. Their filters are a compilation of their experiences in the past, emotions in the present, and their assumptions they have made about you impacts their interpretation of what you have said. A lot of times you're not talking to the person, you're talking to their filters. And I have to be mindful of that. Sometimes you forget. You're like, what's going on? What happened there? Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. So where else in your life are these filtering things that you're not seeing, so we have to do an investigation. I'm going to give you some tips on that. I just finished listening to this, and they have some tips, and these are tips for better listening, Because one thing that we don't do a lot of is listening. We don't listen well. I'm going to just say myself included. We do not listen well. So here are some tips to help you. 5 keys to listening better. Fix the filter. Imprison the impulses. Arrest the arrogance. Practice patience. Consult their creator. God, show me how to minister to this person, right? That's consulting the creator. These are 5 keys to listening better. Just because they understand doesn't mean it's okay, right? Sometimes people are in seasons where they have needs they haven't assessed yet. Some people have been treated wrong for so long, when they find somebody to treat them right, they call that weak. Some people process and then they speak. That's me. I'm a processor. You may say something or ask me something, and I'm like, okay, so give me a minute, because I gotta process this thing. I don't want to just say anything. Arrogance is always the consequences of somebody grading themselves. Arrogance is always the consequences of somebody grading themselves. You can't grade your own tests. Okay. Your spouse provides a space. If you're married, your spouse provides a space for you to heal. They're not responsible for your healing. There is no getting better relationally until we get better emotionally. My relationships can't prosper if my soul hasn't. Okay. So I wanted to share, that's my notes this morning from a word I was listening to that, I got that filter thing from. And as I was listening to that, I was like, oh, that's so good. And it just really now that you have this awareness, when you're saying things and you're talking to people, or you made a post and somebody's in the comment section saying something, you like, how did they get that? How did they get this out of that? Filter. You're not talking to people, you're talking to their filters. Sometimes it's not for everybody. Some people have been doing the work. They have the relational intelligence, the emotional intelligence. They have these things. And there are some people who are not aware, right? They're not aware that, their experiences and their present emotions and their assumptions all are, that's how they're responding. They're responding based on these things, right? And it's just their experience, their perception. That's really what it is, their perception. And we all see things differently based on our personal experiences, right? We feel things differently because of our present emotions. And sometimes when you find yourself engaging in a conversation with somebody, you're engaging with that filter. When I was talking to this person, I made a post and I was talking to this person trying to explain what I said. And I was like, I don't think they can get it. And I realized I was talking to their filter. They saw this post, and this post brought up some past experiences, and they started feeling these emotions, and then they had this judgment about what was about me and what I said, the way I said it, right? Sometimes we're not in conflict with people, we're in conflict with their filters. That is so huge. It's a huge awareness. So just think about that when you're in interactions with people. You may not be in interaction with that person. You may be in interactions with their filter. My goodness, that's all. I wanted to share that this morning because it literally blew my mind. And I may go dive more into that and do like a whole video about it. I'm not sure. We'll see what feels good. We'll see what my soul says. But wanted to share that this morning. Those are my lessons this week, and I'm just, I'm just embracing it all and processing it all. So the more I process, the more I begin to have revelation, and I'll share. But for now, I'm complete. Have an amazing Monday. Have an amazing week on purpose. Until next time. Later.